One of the most disturbing elements of the Prohibition War is how it's made police the enemy of otherwise law-abiding cannabis consumers. Fortunately, one group of police officers knows the futility of prohibition and reaches out to educate the community and current law enforcement. Today, the Russ Belville Show visits with another speaker from Law Enforcement Against Prohibition with one clear message: cops say legalize drugs.
Welcome back, everybody. Half past, and I'm thrilled to be welcoming to the program the only police officer whose car I've enjoyed a ride in. It's Major Neill Franklin, the Executive Director of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. Neill, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Radical Russ. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's really good to hear from you. And, as soon as I saw headlines streaming out of Missouri and people freaking out about tanks and militarized cops on their streets, I kind of shook my head and went, where you been the past 10 years? Those of us in the drug war have seen this a lot. And I just wanted to get your take on this subject. I thought you would be the perfect person to talk to about this. So what was your reaction when you first saw that? Were you surprised that people were so surprised by this?
You know what? I was, how can I say this? I wasn't surprised about what I saw. And I am still kind of surprised that people, the average person, is surprised, because we've been speaking about this for a while at least. About how the drug war is pretty much the platform, the launching point, or stage, should I say, for this over-militarization of our police forces. It all started with the drug war. It's interesting. I'm sitting in the office here with, Chief Larry Kurt, one of our speakers from Missouri. And we were just talking about that very thing. And I was talking with Jack Cole earlier about how we just gradually started moving towards this place of militarization. And with federal money becoming available, federal programs for us getting equipment, some of these vehicles. And it just slowly grew over the years. And now we end up with an event like in Ferguson, and the protesters are confronted by, snipers sitting on top of these armored vehicles, and all of a sudden we're shocked. But no, it was going to happen sooner or later, and so now it's time for us to deal with it.
It's also hard not to see how race plays into this when, a month or two prior, you had the Bundy Ranch things going on where, we had folks setting up sniper positions, civilians setting up sniper positions against federal law agents, and not a whole lot of militarized police reaction to any of that. So it just does, I think it goes to show just how pernicious this drug war has been in, as Michelle Alexander describes it, setting up this new Jim Crow sort of situation. There is good news. Apparently there is a bipartisan effort now to try to rein in these militarized police forces. Can you tell us the progress in Washington on this?
Yeah, so far it looks like it's going pretty good. We've had some hearings. One of our good speakers, Norm Stamper, actually testified at these hearings, and it's getting a lot of attention. I'm convinced that we're going to see some sort of adjustment or rollback to the program. I don't think it's going to be eliminated. I don't think it should be eliminated. I think we need to tighten up. I think we need to regulate it more. I think we need to have better standards for who gets access to the equipment. And even once you have access to the equipment, there's got to be good record keeping. There's got to be good management. It's just been a loosely run program. We do have needs for certain pieces of equipment, and some of this equipment is expensive, and obviously law enforcement agencies cannot afford it. But, some of these departments don't need it, especially when, a major city police department or county who's right there with you has the equipment already and can, in many cases, deploy it quicker than you can for a hostage situation or, heaven forbid, another school shooting where we have to evacuate people if the shooter is still active. But, those are far and few between. And, you know, we do have to figure out a way to change the mindset or the culture of policing, which is gradually migrated to this place of, you know, militarization, the militarization mindset, not so much the equipment, but the mindset of how we police in our communities and how we have occupied our communities and how everyone appears to be the enemy, you know, to you. Again, and I'm going to say this time and time again, these drug prohibition laws have a lot to do with that. Not just the equipment, but the mindset of our police officers and how they interact with our citizens.
Absolutely. I mean, people will articulate they feel, you know, being having an occupying force. We'll read stories over and over of people minding their own business, going about their day, being hassled and patted down and harassed and searched. And we've often discussed that policing for profit aspect to it with asset forfeiture and the ability to use marijuana as, say, a key to unlock the Fourth and Fifth Amendments and go after suspects in that respect. And it just sounds good to me that mainstream politicians on the Hill are starting to recognize this. What are the political chances of these things being changed? Are there people's budgets at stake that they're going to fight for against this?
I don't think so. I don't think budgets really come into play here with the 1033 program. Mm-hmm. It's basically about equipment and access to equipment. You know, they're still going to have access to federal grants, you know, burn grants and cops grants for different things. Unfortunately, you know, we believe that those federal dollars should be shifted to other areas of law enforcement. You know, let's move those federal dollars, because we don't want to cash-strap police departments, but let's redirect that money to, like, crimes against our children, crimes against women, you know, domestic violence, rape investigations. What about identity theft investigations, which law enforcement tends to just ignore today because we don't have the resources or the money to do those types of investigations? But people who are victims of identity theft, their lives have been devastated. So, you know, we have to give law enforcement something else to be proud of, you know, in the work that they do, and get them out of this drug game. We get them out of the drug business, you know what, and we'll be able to get them out of the mindset of being soldiers, you know, because, again, the war on drugs, the war on this, the war on that, the war on terror, we got to stop using this term war, for one thing. As we come up with with new things for them to do, because when you think of war, you know what? Right away, there is no Constitution when there's war. All right, so there is no Fourth Amendment protection. There is no First Amendment protections when you're in war. You know what? And everybody on the other side of your sights or your guns initially is your enemy, until they prove themselves otherwise, if they even get the opportunity to do so. So we have to, you know, we have to work at getting police to see themselves in another role. Well, peace officers, how about that? You know, when they show up, they should bring peace with them, right? They should de-escalate what's occurring, be it a protest, you know, or be it a domestic violence situation, be an argument on the street. When they show up, peace should come with them. That's not happening.
Absolutely. We're speaking with Major Neill Franklin, retired from Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. He's the executive director, and you can find out more about this fine organization at leap.cc on the internet. They got a speaker bureau of hundreds all around the country, and now branching out internationally, I understand.
Yeah, we just opened up a very strong branch in Costa Rica, Central America, which is extremely important regarding this. Here we go again, war on drugs and war on people. It's extremely important. If we can begin to move Central America to end drug prohibition policies, then I think that will be significant on a global scale, obviously. So yeah, Costa Rica is up and running, and I believe Jack Cole is going to be meeting with the president of Costa Rica in New York on Sunday. So it's good stuff.
Amazing. Great organization you've got, and just getting more and more ink and airtime. I keep seeing you guys being referred to, and I'm so glad that your voices are being heard. Last question as we move out here. You know, the events in Ferguson and just throughout the news lately have highlighted people, their sensitivity to this militarization. And as we move forward and we seek justice, oftentimes we find, you know, the cops will be investigating themselves. It's how can we ensure and build a better trust in our police forces if they're just investigating themselves? What would you like to see happen there?
Well, Russ, that is an excellent question to end with. There are some police departments that have civilian review boards. Now, just because they have a civilian review board to take part in looking at these complaints that come in and abuses that come in or that are alleged to occur by police officers, it doesn't mean that things are better for that community and that police department, because most civilian review boards do not have teeth. They do not have subpoena power. Their decisions aren't binding. It's more of a PR type thing. But if your community can establish a civilian review board, first of all, you should petition your police department to do so. Your listeners should. They should have subpoena power. They should be dovetailed with your internal affairs unit. They should have direct access to the chief's office. They should be, their decisions, once made, should be binding. And at the end of the day, here's what it boils down to. Sir Robert Peel was in the UK back in 1829 when he was what we consider the father of modern-day policing, and his commissioners came up with 9 basic policing principles. And I believe it's principle number 7 that says that the public are the police, and the police are the public, which means, yeah, you should have a civilian review board. Our police department should be monitored by the community.